Imagine you're a devout follower of God, this God, right here, and you do everything that God says. You worship when told. You tailor your morality and attitudes and practices to God's institution of belief. You immerse yourself in a community of fellow worshipers. You do all this with one goal, to go to God's promised land. There is nothing more important, and no matter what you do, that goal is always in the back of your mind. Then the time comes. God shows up with a smile. All of your hard work and dedication has paid off. It's time for your community to ascend to the promised land, leaving behind your mortal coil and all these other people on this forsaken rock. That is, till God approaches you specifically.
You are my chosen,
God says. You feel your heart swell with pride until God speaks again.
That is why you will remain behind while the rest of my people ascend to the promised land. You must continue to spread the word, and one day we'll be back.
And then God is gone. Your community is gone, but you remain. For two members of the Heaven's Gate cult, this is exactly what happened. Welcome to Nothing is Revealed. If you were the one left behind, how would you feel? How would it shatter your perception of the world and your place in it? Would you feel depressed or angry or maybe even betrayed? Or would you just feel pride? Maybe somewhere in between. We'll come back to that, but first we have to tell the story of a cult, the Heaven's Gate cult.
Classroom, or in old language a couple thousand years ago, disciples. We'll title this tape Planet Earth About to be Recycled.
Just over 21 years ago, in a San Diego mansion, 39 people committed ritual suicide. They were followers of a brand new religion based on the sensibilities of cheesy Silver Age science fiction. They consumed barbiturates, swirled in applesauce, downed vodka, tied plastic bags on their heads, climbed into bunk beds, and died. You see, they were convinced they'd ascend to a better world. Literally. Leaving their bodies behind, they'd hitch a ride on a spaceship behind the Hale-Bopp Comet. According to their belief system, there was no other choice, and Armageddon was coming. This was the only way they could avoid it and rise to, quote-unquote, a level above human. I know how this sounds, as John Wilkins of the San Diego Union Tribune put it. The jokes started right away, even though 39 people had died. Heaven's Gate felt ripe for ridicule. Regardless of their beliefs, we are talking about real men and women with devastated families and friends. There are so many more details to their religion, beliefs, dogmas, even a holy text of sorts. I'm just going to pop over to their website to show you more. Oh, did I mention the Heaven's Gate cult still has a website? They sure do, and it's all here. Links to their scripture, even an image of a member of the Kingdom of Heaven, bearing a striking resemblance to every sci-fi alien ever. And weirdest of all, in my mind, is the tab, Our Position Against Suicide. Now, I have read this a dozen times, and it still doesn't make sense to me. While contradictory, it seems to say we're against suicide, until the time is right for suicide. And then, in that case, it isn't suicide. very scary stuff. Huh, that's funny. There's an email address on their site. Let's write them. No tough questions. Let's just feign interest. I have a lot of questions about your website. Do the members of the Kingdom of Heaven really resemble this generic alien? And send.
You've got mail.
What the? Yes, folks, the Heaven's Gate cult has a website that is actively maintained and responsive. In 2018, 21 years later. What's the story here? As it turns out, this mystery has an answer. The admins of the site were actual cult members. They were simply asked to stay behind. Even though their founder and leader, Marshall Applewhite, had said Earth would be recycled shortly after the mass suicide, he asked them to stay behind and spread the gospel nonetheless, just before killing himself. The couple who maintain the site are Mark and Sarah King. They did an absolutely fascinating interview on Reddit's blog, Upvoted. In it, they say that they aren't recruiting because the cult is no more. They also say they're just keeping the site up so the information is available to mankind in preparation for the return of Applewhite and the other ascended cultists. The one thing I can't get over is this. How do they feel about being left behind? When asked in another email interview with Motherboard, they responded, "We didn't have any of those feelings. That would be a very human response." But I'm not so sure I believe them. I ask myself, how would I feel in their shoes? Angry at how unfair it is? Or depressed? Or maybe, just maybe, relieved. Relieved that I don't have to die. Because I don't want to die. Because some part of my brain, deep down, knows that maybe there is no spaceship behind the Hale-Bopp Comet. And life is already so sweet at this level.
Well, it's up to you whether you believe that or not.
Thank all you lovely people for watching. I don't want to alarm anyone, but we do have 2 new segments in the works, both still relating to the internet and mysteries. A segment on creepypastas, the legendary internet-spawned micro-horror stories, and a segment on memes, specifically where they come from. These segments will always be secondary on this channel. Videos on creepy, real-life mysteries will always be the bread and butter of Nothing Is Revealed. If you have tips or feedback, you can reach out to the show via email and Twitter. We also have a PayPal link. If you like our videos, subscribe and consider chucking in $1 if you've got it. Thanks again for watching.